bass is so chuggy. Ooh. Yes. Traveling through space. Yes. Oh yeah. Tension is real. Love that! Ooh. Yeah. Yeah! Prog legends, King Crimson, back in the Threshold, listening to this band. The only other song I've reacted to was Starless, which changed my life forever. As many people had their lives changed forever after hearing that song. One of the most perfect songs I've ever heard in my entire life. King Crimson, Red, the opening track off of their album of the same title from 1974. I had an inkling this was the opening track, and then confirming it at the end, it makes a lot of sense. This feels like a rocket ship kind of steadily making its way into outer space and just traversing a dark, evil, universe. And really good. Just the mix. Oh, it's, again, trying to describe the feel it's invoking. Like, this is a perfect example of how a riff is so essential to a song, yet also how a riff in itself can be the song if it's good enough. I jotted down, an effective riff, Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath. A lot of those songs back in the day, they're crafted around the riff, and it's just so big. The opener isn't trying to be a sprawling prog piece. It's an effective opener, is what it is. And just so heavy, just so good. Mix is so good. The bass playing underneath all of it is chuggy and great as always, just kind of how it was in Starless. I'm getting vibes just because it's King Crimson, and then of course there's going to be a feel in their overall catalog, but an album I listened to all the way through in my personal time was Thrak from 1995, where Adrian Belew was on the mantle for singing and the guitar parts. And the opening segment or two to that album before it fades into Dinosaur is giving me vibes now of this song opening this album. It's that 1 or 2 bit intro off the Thrak album has a similar repetitive cyclical riff that's kind of getting you into the album before it fades into something even heavier and darker. And it's just so good. I really enjoyed listening to this. I jotted down that at about 2:55 into the song, the doom kind of march it started to do, or the big change in what was happening throughout the song there, reminded me of the ending of Electric Light Orchestra's King of the Universe off of their album On the Third Day from 73, which would have came out a year earlier. I'm a huge Electric Light Orchestra fan, and Electric Light Orchestra has so many prog tendencies left to be found when discovering and diving deeper into their catalog than what you may hear on the radio. And that song, particularly on that album, is, I think, its most how would you say, I guess prog colorful, in that it's changing throughout and it's having similar themes throughout, and I just had a connection there between how heavy that part was. Yeah, this is badass. I'm definitely gonna have to trek through this album in its entirety, whether I cherry pick a few songs from this album to react to yet, or listen to it in its entirety in my personal time. I would love to hear what you think is worth reacting on the channel from this album specifically. That might be a key deep cut or a fan favorite that I can note down to listen to on camera, that then I can save the rest for off camera. Last year, at the tail end of last year, Danny Carey, Adrian Belew, Steve Vai, I'm missing someone. Tony Levin. I believe Tony Levin was involved in this project too, the Beat Project. Tony Levin also making appearances in Liquid Tension Experiment with John Petrucci and Dave Portnoy in the mid-90s, late 90s with their project. But Tony Levin being, I don't know if longtime bassist or bassist in the mid part of King Crimson's tenure, but I found Tony Levin in Liquid Tension Experiment before I realized he was in King Crimson, which is kind of ironic and cool. But they had the Beat Tour spanned a few cities and shows in the end of 2024, and I believe they were playing the 80s Crimson catalog, the Three of a Perfect Pair span. I want to say that's an album or two, maybe 3 albums of content that they were covering. And on the prog scope, a big favorite of mine in the prog metal scene is Devin Townsend, who had an album released last year, or it was either the end of last year or early this year, Power Nerd. And so when I dip into the prog scene, I have to bring these things up. I'm going to see Devin Townsend later this year, the first week of May, and I'm excited to see him again. I saw him first with Dream Theater and Animals as Leaders in 2023. And of course, I mean, if you've seen any live performances of Devin Townsend, he blows your face off exactly like you'd expect. But very, very, very cool King Crimson track to get into again. As I said, give me some more deep cuts or favorites off of this album specifically, because I'm really enjoying the spot I'm in with this sound, especially having already listened to Starless. And so I would love to wrap this album up with some favorites for y'all to react to. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe if you feel so inclined. I look forward to hearing your comments. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.